Hi everyone, welcome. Anastasia Kompos here, also Anastasia Blue Beyond Guide. I just want to say hi so you can see the person and the voice behind what I've been sharing on my timeline, and this goes out to other places. And I just want to voice that the new podcast, Voice to Heal, has been published, and within the Voice to Heal podcast, which is leading the way firstly in Australia, and it is an inaugural episode of the Voice to Heal where I speak about my groundbreaking story as one of the first Greek Australian women to serve in the military during the 1980s, and blazing new trails through the Voice to Heal podcast, which has the military abuse trauma stories and the Get Real and Feel Consciously series. So there's two here. One is for the military veterans, and one is a journey of survival, which is called spiritual. I use the word spiritual and healing, and what it really is I'm really down to earth, raw and real, and what it's taken for me to survive from what I share in the military trauma and abuse podcast is just a brief snippet of what was so much behind all I shared in this first episode. And even now, after all this time, because this is still a very sensitive area to myself and veterans, because when we signed up for life. So there is much more to this podcast, and it's already stirring up some things and some people that served with me at the time that had no idea what was happening. And I just want to say to those people that I'm not here to fight anything. I'm here to voice to heal and hold a space in this new podcast series, and it's on iHeart, Amazon, Spotify. It's now on YouTube under Anastacia Blue Beyond Guide. And I'm not a professional. I'm sharing from the heart, and this is about giving people a chance to voice and speak. The military podcast series is the first of its kind in Australia, and these are just facts. These are a lot of what I'm talking about are things that have been written that I'm passing along as well, that others wrote, because I actually find it, believe it or not, a bit hard to write about myself, yet I've needed to learn how to do this for a different purpose, and it triggers a lot of people. So I just want to just say hi, give you a heads up. I also want to say a quick, because I don't, very rare do I post on my timeline, and I just want to say to that those of you that are reaching out wanting to send me courses and educate me, please don't. I'm not there. I've done a lot of stuff I've done 20 years ago. People are just coming into now. So I'm just releasing those energies and those people. So please know that series episode 2 has already been published with beautiful Christina, where she shares about her stalking, her rape and abuse. Yet what the biggest thing that came up for Christina was not being heard, not being listened to. And so watch out for episode 2. That will be shared again. That will be shared soon. And just for those, for me, that have shown concern, that still to this day I have not had acceptance about what happened. Mine was very much one of the first in Australia that created new legislation for females for the tri-service Army, Air Force, Navy in Australia. That's why the title has been giving Trailblazer, actually physically blazing new trails. And then the Get Real and Feel Consciously series works more on the coming from a loving heart and what it has taken for me to survive. And I share a little bit about my story in episode 1 of the Get Real and Feel Consciously, that the space was held with 4 other people, yet it also was a different form of a show that is for a different purpose. It's working on a much higher level, that those who see that will instantly feel a lift, a shift, and an upgrade. So these are quite two powerful podcast shows under one banner, Voice to Heal. I'm not a business. I am not into pushing. I share for people to feel it and uptake themselves from someone that's been literally boots on the ground in the trenches for nearly 12 years in the military, and then 20 to 30 years working on myself, recovering from what I endured. That was the first of its kind in Australia. That created new legislation. So everything I share is from personal and private experience. And now it has come to the point that it has led this point in my life. Everything that I endured from that trauma and abuse, I have now gone through a lot to then shift and turn this around. Remember, 30 years, it's a very long time, to now hold these podcasts, to hold space for others, because it takes a very strong person to hold space for other strong people, yet we feel very soft and vulnerable inside, and that's just how it is. So if you feel a calling, if you're a veteran serving, or discharge from the military, and you've been through something that you would like to speak about, each person that comes in that I hold space with have let me know that it is quite life-changing afterwards. The Voice to Heal is quite powerful. Don't underestimate it. So I'm getting the wind up to go now. So this was very brief to introduce the Voice to Heal podcast, and it's up to you to seek this. I've provided the way. It's up to you to see if you're pulled to watch this. So those of you that I served with, sit back and enjoy. And because a lot of people went overseas to fight wars, and I often say I fought the war at home with the abuse and the trauma, and that was my war. And we're allowed to call ourselves veterans. You can do whatever you like. A lot of people don't like saying veteran. However, you go look up the definition of that. So I'm going to go now. So thank you, and I really look forward to those of you that take the time to watch and follow and the Voice to Heal podcast, because it is creating a new way forward from veterans of 30 years plus. I have more speakers coming to speak of what they endured years ago, because it's a different breed, different generations now, yet the abuse and the trauma is still happening. Okay, that's the other reason, is to show others you're not alone, you're not the only one. This has happened before, okay? And it's taking those of us from 30 years ago that are still feeling intensely deeply. We signed up for life, and we are still involved in this energy for life. It's part of who we are. And if you haven't served, you may not understand that, but if you've served, you understand that. And so we've got Ginger coming up soon, so she's got a lot to share as well. So thank you, everybody. Great to see you all. A big hi from me. And you know what? The sillier I am, the more that people do not take it seriously. I lighten up, as well as being I don't take myself seriously anymore. Because that's what happens when you've been through so much, is you do lighten up, to laugh, to release, to carry on. And you know how it goes. If you don't laugh, you go crazy. Hey, been there, done that, come back. Okay, so lots of love, everybody. Please enjoy, and I look forward to if you watch one of the shows and your comments. All right, take care, everybody. Onwards and upwards. Bye.